All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to Vended Thoughts, episode 8. I am super excited to have on Matt from the Movers team. We're going to be talking a lot about movers, but Matt, he's from Long Island. I met him a little while back, but they're doing some awesome stuff with movers. Highly suggest you guys check them out all over the web, creating some awesome content. Matt, introduce yourself, give your ats, and yeah, we'll hop right into it.
What is up, guys? Again, my name is Matt. Dom, thank you for having me on here, dude. I really love what you've been doing over the past couple of years, and yeah, I'll shoot them with my ads first, and then I want to dive a little bit deeper into how we first got started. You were there from pretty much day one, dude. It was really cool
Very
to.
cool, yeah.
I'm interested in your perspective. Year after year, we always end up relinking. I would say we've been on at least a once a year link. We exchange conversation, and
Absolutely.
yeah, each one of those conversations always are yo, where you at? And I feel like we always blow each other's minds with where we're at. But real quick, everyone can they can hit up a link at our ads for movers is at movers underscore. That's movers with a Z, and then followed by an underscore at the end. That's where you'll see most of the stuff that we're coming out with now. In terms of what movers is, little background of movers. I'll start with that real quick. Is we've grown into more of an entertainment conglomerate. I finally boiled that word down, dude. It took years.
I love that because I
Yeah.
always used to ask you, but I love that, man.
Yeah.
Keep going now.
Yeah. So yeah, it's an entertainment conglomerate. You can find our we produce a lot of videos, brand commercials for companies. We produce our own skits, now movies we've touched into. In terms of another form of a conglomerate, we'll talk later about a music festival that we hosted. Yeah, any type of brand jingle and just a very, very creative group.
All
And
about making moves.
Yep, it's all about making moves. Yep, it all started with that name. I remember sitting in the basement. I was with my cousin Ryan, who started with it, and we were sitting in the basement, and we loved the idea of movements and how we just felt this energy to move, literally. And we looked up movers with an S at the time. We're like, "Yo, this is perfect." And of course, we look it up, and it's the biggest moving company in the world. So we are like, "All right." What inspired us was there was I don't know if you remember this. When I was in like I want to say high school, there was a thing called lockers with a Z. I don't know if you ever remember that,
I
but
do remember. I don't remember you mentioned this, but I remember the company. They rewarded you.
yeah, yeah, they reward you for basically watching advertisements, and they were like one of the first ones I feel like to do it, and they you would be able to get like PS, I think threes at the time, or like Xbox, 360s or something. I forget what years those were back then, but they you
Yes.
would get points for signing in every day. You would get points for watching videos. You would get points for liking and commenting, and it really started this whole like, hey, dive into this platform and you get rewarded for engaging. And I just liked how it had a Z on it, so I was like, "Yo, like Ryan, like, what about we just do movers with a Z? Like, that sounds sick." And so we look it up, and it was the domain definitely wasn't as much as movers.com, but it was 45 grand didn't scare us at the time. So we were like, all right, we're on the right track. So we, we reached out to them. We ended up not getting movers.com. We just went the .org route. And that also inspired us to create the nonprofit, which we're have a piece of us now, which is 501c3 status as of this year. And, that we started from that. But
I
that's the
love
roots
that.
of it. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
roots.
no, no, no. I love that because going back on the one thing, I love that you guys are a nonprofit because I came to that event that you guys had, and it was just so cool to see how many people you can bring together. You guys really make moves, and in those moves, you make connections. And I love having you on this podcast because hopefully there are connections that grow from this in some way, in some form that help you grow even more. But going back on the
Absolutely.
movers thing, I always, and I've, which I'm starting to think now, I think it's bad to say, but I've started 30 plus companies, some of which failed. And
Damn,
then,
yo.
then, yeah, I mean, you have to fail to succeed, but
Yeah.
the name in itself always takes like some amount of effort where it's always interesting because for you that was easy. All right, you just said let's do a Z, you wanted to do that. But for me, like sometimes I want to create a cool brand, but then I'm like, I don't have a name. Like I can't create this brand because I don't have a name. Like and I just find that such a crazy thing. And I'm sure people struggle out there, and that was my point with the names, but just move with what you can and change however you can just to get out there and start moving because and I say moving so much when I'm around you, but it's so
Yep.
funny because it just relates
That's
to
the point.
it.
Yep,
But
that's it.
that's my point. I mean, just name your business for anyone listening. Get going, make your moves. But thank you for that introduction. I mean, we'll hop into the questions.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean that was perfect, but we got a lot of cool questions. You've done a lot of cool stuff. But
Hmm.
one more thing, actually, before we hop right in, I didn't put a question in the recent things that you've done. The two videos you created, one being the Island Grow, which I want to go visit them because that just looks like a cool place,
Yeah.
and the nature, the good food place. I don't know the
Oh,
name.
organic corner.
Yeah, Organic Corner, which is
Yeah.
I think in Farmingdale, right?
Close, Massapequa.
Okay, I think I've actually been there
Yeah.
back in the day. But yeah, those two videos, man, inspire like I don't know if the word's inspired, but motivated me to want to go to both those places because how
Mm.
well you shot them. So kudos to you guys,
Oh,
honestly.
thanks, man. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that later. It's
Awesome.
just we've adapted into really a higher quality now. So you're hitting us at a perfect time.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. All right, let's hop right in. We got our first question here. We
Yeah.
met back when it was in its infancy. You said that, you know, as with any infant company, we're scattered. We're trying to figure out our market fit, trying to figure out where we can, make our business go. You hit me up. We met, friend of a friend essentially. And it's crazy to see your progress now. And, we can even talk about that because
Yeah.
I think you guys are doing some awesome things. And you've told a little bit about the journey from then to now. What has it been? Pretty much 5 years?
Yeah, just about. You saw it in its baby stages, man. That
I
was
was there like the second
yeah.
weekend. I feel like.
Yeah, man, literally, that was, like, the initial excitement hype mode, and, like, it was fi so I it was 4 years ago is when, that moment happened, maybe 3 and a half. I had a year to myself after college, and then my cousin Ryan and my partners, Ryan and Steve, graduated 2016, and after that, we sat down, we're like, "Yo, boys, like, what do we wanna do now? Like, we're free, like, there's no class, there's no homework, like, what do you wanna do?" And at the time was right when Gary Vee was at his peak, and he dropped the bomb of like, "Yo, you're one of 400 trillion, and stop judging yourself and get the fuck out there and start making moves. Now you got the time, and like
I love it.
that resonated with me really heavily, man. I give it to him for helping people to kind of just uncover that for themselves,
Yeah, to follow
and
their dreams.
yeah, and just passion over profit basically, and is
Love
something
that.
that I personally live by, and it's
I like
taken
people over profit, but that's the same thing. I'm sorry to cut you
yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah, just about the same thing, and it's just like it it it
I cut you off. I'm
really
sorry.
you're in it no, you're good. You're in it for the long-term game. That's really what you gotta get prepped for mentally, and I was just hyped and just ready to start something. I have no idea what that even meant. I'm like, "Yeah, long term? Got it." And then, like, 4 years later, I'm like, "Holy fuck, this is long term." But it's still exciting, but it's if you progressively realize how real it really gets, and, anyway, started from then, um it was just that initial hype, and I hit you up and just out of just blitzkrieg, just like, "Yo, I'm starting something." Like, I don't know what it is yet, but I kind of have an idea, just like jump in it and, kind of just figure it out along the way. And it literally took, I really think, 4 years to actually figure it out because what it was just a huge experimentation process, and we didn't judge ourselves for releasing anything. Nothing we did was ever finalized, and even though it came across that way to some people, we just always knew that we just had to keep moving forward and just release things whenever we could. So people got different tastes of it. People got different tastes of and versions of movers over the years. We were primarily client serviced, and then we were primarily original content focused. Then we were nonprofit focused, and then just festival focused, and now we're in this entertainment conglomerate. So what it did was, and I noticed, now that I just had some time to reflect, was like those were all necessary because we tapped into so many different markets and just taste tested so many different things. But what we did though is we kept it all within our own world. So were just like basically just the best analogy I can give is just growing into its own Disney. So like if you look at Disney's business model, it is a conglomerate, and it's just I'm not into like theater, even though technically there is some theater into it, but like we're not doing like shows or amusement parks, but like the way that Disney set up, it's just like co-branded web. It was just
I love that.
so unbelievable to me, and I think you sent me a map of it. I think
I
you were
was
the one
just
that
about to mention that
is
map,
that
man. I
you?
didn't know
Holy
who's.
shit!
I don't know if I did. I don't know, but I love that map
I
because
think you
Disney
sent
is
it to
like
me.
two, 300 different brands or companies,
Yeah,
you know?
there was one from 1957 that I studied at the time, and then they came out with one recently, which obviously has grown significantly since 1957, and it
Of
is just
course.
wild. But like, it
It
basically
is.
like spider webbed out how everything intertwined, and that's what this all turned into. Is I didn't realize how horizontally that we were building at the time, and now that we've built depth in our relationships, but like we were
I
coming out
love
with new
that.
shit every other week, literally. Like it was a new brand, like from t-shirts to characters to different skit ideas and bringing in other brands and finding other ways of co-branding. It was really just its own world, and it really just stemmed from just creating an environment that allowed people to do that and to do it fearlessly and to have a support group that was able to just be excited to see things grow rather than like
Yeah.
kind of be a consumer. And I'm going to use an example of like I'm a musician, so like when I play a song and I record it and I send it to my other bandmates, like we hear the progress in it. Like it's obviously not done. But if we were to release that early on to the regular consumer, they're gonna be like, "Oh, what is this? It's unfinished. This is shit." So it's like we were just hyped because we understand the process. So like I feel like other entrepreneurs were excited for us when we would release things because they saw that it was a progress step, versus like some people are like, oh, what is this? I don't get it, and then shut off. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
like you don't get it yet, and like we're still fine tuning it, but we knew it was progress every single time that we released something or announced something, and it's just grown now into this giant conglomerate that we're all working together. All the brands within the movers community is just have grown significantly individually and collectively, and that's really what it's
Yeah.
all about.
I love it. It's Movers is its own collective consciousness of different things, you know? It's
Oh
really
yeah.
cool.
If you want to go deep, we can go there too, man. That's what it
We're
founded
there,
on.
I know, and I know the Movers logo. I mean, I
Yeah.
should have even put that in there. I love that, There's
Yeah,
just a
it's
lot that goes into it. It's really
it
awesome. Yeah,
if
talk
it's
about the Movers logo.
yeah, yeah, it's really unique. So like that's really what it stemmed from. Like I remember walking back from the studio the first time, and me and Ryan just had this mind blown moment. And we were walking in like literally the freezing cold. I remember it was winter time, and we walked like a mile in like our t-shirts. Like we were just like so mind blown. We had to like get outside, and like we were just in it and talking, um, and like it just really just stemmed from that talk that we were mind blown about was just life, and it was just just how everything kind of just spiral together, and that's why we had the first part of the logo in the they call it a spiral, so it's spiral light bulb, and we actually have like a we're I think was it patent or whatever trademarked. We have that trademarked is the spiral, so it's a spiral light bulb. The reason why we picked spiral and the light bulb is the light bulb representing a light connectivity and ideas, which is really the heart of movers, is just an endless amount of ideas and innovation, and encouraging that. And then the spiral is basically what you put out, you get back. It's just that mode of serendipity. I believe it's like the Archimedes spiral or something. If you want to like really look into it or something like
Yes.
that, it's like the geometrically number that like constantly spirals, and it's just the spirals are everywhere in Earth and in life, and that's what it is
I
to
love
us.
it.
It's just here's this life of endless ideas and all working together, and the light bulb also representing connectivity, and that's exactly what movers is. It's just is that connectivity and family basically.
An interconnected web of
Yep.
interconnected people.
Yep. We call it a brand of brands. It's
Brand
unreal.
of I like
So
brand
a
of brand.
mover,
That's really cool.
I feel like it's easy to kind of think of it that way, and um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but that's
But
what we
I
work
mean,
hard. So like when
yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah, I was gonna say like when people like join the community, it's like there's movers out there. Like it's basically just like another word in the dictionary that I'm calling it. It's just like you have an entrepreneur who like movers are entrepreneurs, but not all movers are entrepreneurs, if that makes sense. So it's like
No,
an
I like that.
entrepreneur will go out and like basically it means like you can be self you can figure out a way to make money for yourself. And it doesn't
I love it.
necessarily matter in terms of the definition of entrepreneur. It doesn't necessarily matter in terms of how you're doing it. I mean, obviously, legally or illegally is the only difference. But there's something about the difference that I want to make clear is like a mover is really just building a life around their passion. So it doesn't mean that you're not a passionate entrepreneur. It's just like I've talked to entrepreneurs that, for example, are like running, restaurants, and like they had a passion for it at the time, but like really they wanted to be a singer. So like their whole life, like that was their like true passion that they either regretted later on in life. And actually, it was weird. I was just talking to a guy now that we're helping build up his restaurant business, and he's like, "Yo, I'm done. Like, I kind of want to like pass this off and like free myself up." And he's passionate about his kids and doing flying lessons, and like he's just at that point where like he's passionate to a certain degree, but like he was entrepreneurial. It's just like he wasn't building a life around his like true passion, and like
Wow.
it's certainly harder to do. And obviously entrepreneurs start things passionately, and a lot of them have that. And maybe I just I haven't come or met as many true passion entrepreneurs. But no, it's really just the people that are just made a living about of what they're doing, and really only that. and
Yeah.
um and so like it's hard, like because you get discouraged because it's super personal to you, because it's your passion and you put your heart out on the sleeve for open for vulnerability. And that's where I went in. I'm a
Amen.
big
Yeah.
perfectionist, and I grew a lot of hesitation to put things out there. But honestly, having the community, having Ryan next to me and being like, "No, bro, get it out there, get it out there, get it out there. Like, stop thinking, just go, just move,"
Yeah.
helps so much.
It's
And you just constantly chisel.
the best thing about movers, and what I realized from these couple years that you guys have been doing it, you guys have a serious bias towards moving. I can say a bias towards action because, as with any entrepreneur, you should really have a bias towards action. But like, you guys have a bias towards moves, and it doesn't
Yep.
matter, what you guys were doing, 3 years ago or 4 years ago when I met you, and you were basically trying to just bring people together who wanted to
Mhm.
do something they were passionate about. Now it's forming and fully formed almost into what you have it. And it's just awesome because anyone who starts a business, you have to realize it won't be fully formed. Facebook wasn't fully formed. And
Ever.
my business have never been fully formed. You start with an idea, you crank at it, you really do put your vulnerabilities out there. You learn a little bit of humility, and you just keep moving forward no matter what hits you. I'm sure you guys had plenty of setbacks, and we'll
Oh,
push forward with the questions because
yeah.
we do have the staff fest, and I'm very interested to talk about that.
Yeah,
So
we could talk about setbacks there.
yes, I know you're a trainer. We are switching up here, but I wanted to
Yeah.
put this in there because the coronavirus, everything that's going on. You're a trainer. Tell us some of the best ways to stay healthy during this time.
Yeah, that's important to note too. That's what I got my degree in, and that was like a big pivotal point for me, was to not go the typical degree route. I was going to originally be a physical therapist, but I saw my time there spent was to learn health and bring that knowledge to my family and my friends. And so I've kind of become that source of information and healing for those around me. So when this all happened, this quarantine, I really I switched up a lot about myself personally, and I did that to be more of a practitioner, rather than a preacher. In the sense of, I actually I stopped all caffeine during quarantine. I
Wow.
stopped eating meat for the first time ever, and coming from an Italian
Wow.
family, that was hard for my grandmother to
Come
hear.
on, the
Yeah,
meatballs.
no meatballs. When I had to my grandmother no meatballs, she was like, "Are you sick?" I was like,
That's
"No,
too
it's like
funny.
this new thing. No, no, like it's okay." Like, but I know she's talking shit about me. It's okay. Um, so I just wanted to try everything. I did that, and then I just tripled down on eating fruits and vegetables, and I got actually recently into yoga. I actually I during the first parts of quarantine, I stopped. I didn't do anything physically. I just did those things from a more consumption standpoint, but
Wow.
like I realized real quickly that I really needed to move my body again. And so what my mode for healing was walking. I just wanted people to just get out and walk and drink more water. And that's literally like the simplest mode of exercise that just goes over all of our heads because it is so
So
simple,
true.
but it's like one of the most beneficial forms of exercise ever. Not only is it meditative and therapeutic, but you're in a low intensity cardio where you're in a fat burn zone. So I would wake up every morning and just go on a fasted stomach and just walk. And I lost all of my quote unquote quarantine weight and real quick. And
Wow.
it's a great detox. It's a great way to just get out in the morning and just fill your mind with fresh air. And, just, I would just kind of ideate my day during that time. And I just knew I just felt great. I was doing something good for my body and my mind to start my day. And, that really got me through it. So for anyone that's either on the other end of it, that they wish they did more during quarantine, just start with walking, man. Just start and like just drink more water than you even think that you had to drink, because there's probably a shit ton in your body that I can curse on here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Alright, word. I'll keep it like that.
It's
There's
fine.
there's a shit ton of shit in your body that you probably had to detox, because like, I know countless people went to just, like, drinking during this time or just smoking more, and, like, I did not wanna come out of this quarantine feeling any more sick than what quarantine would do to you, because like, you are a human body. It is meant to breathe oxygen and get outside and be
So
social like that,
true.
so,
Yeah, we
and
were hunters and
yeah.
gatherers, you know?
Exactly. So just get out there, just start walking. Don't judge yourself. It's going to feel great, and it is progress. Just you don't have to beat yourself up in a workout, and judge yourself that if you're not performing high intensity as that not being a good workout. Just get out there, start walking, and it's just the progressive realizations, and just progress. That's all it is.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard this, and maybe you look into it and, shows my beliefs on some things. But I've heard like walking or running or exercising removes or reverses your karma in life.
Oh, that's
Crazy
cool.
thought. But I read this somewhere, and it makes so much sense because when you're walking or you're running or exercising, you just feel so good, and even after it, that lasts for the whole day.
Yeah, that's cool. I never looked into that in terms of karma.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
great.
interesting. Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah,
But we'll push forward. But for anyone
yeah.
out there, get up and walk. Listen to this
Get
podcast while you're
moving.
walking.
Get
Get
moving.
moving. um, what is one piece of advice you would give to people? I don't even just who want to start a business in 2020. That question was a little messed up there.
Oh yeah. All right. So starting out, taste test. Just try a bunch of shit. Like I dipped into like drop shipping. I dipped into stocks. I dipped into like so many different things just to scratch the itch. And I gave myself a couple months with each thing, and you would know. I feel like after 90 days of trying something, you would know if it's something that you truly want to do or not. And I didn't judge myself for taking my time to discover and uncover things about that, because I took little pieces from each thing that I tried. And also I just learned that language. So like I know how to talk stocks now with people. I understand drop shipping. I understand, all the other things that I tried. So anyone trying to start something, like, I mean, that's why I created Movers too. You can always start here, is, you have a place to taste test. And I feel like you have to you I feel like you have to go through that phase first before you find something that you're passionate in, or then you can go back and be like, what, I really did like that. I like how I felt when I was studying that, or uncovering information about that, or and I feel like start with that first.
I love
Just
that.
start being curious, and start taste testing stuff, because like we have so much information out there. You can look anything up on YouTube, and I would wish I took my degree money and put it into YouTube University, because I learned so many things from YouTube that is just, it's priceless, literally.
It really is, and that's such a good point, man. And I think I've kind of lived my life with that. But again, when I hear you talk, it is motivating even to me because I struggle sometimes with being in my head and always thinking of the future. But the life is
Oh,
what happens when you're
facts,
busy. Yeah, life is what happens when you're busy
facts.
planning. But what you say, it always seems like you do have a bias towards moving, towards action. And seriously, man, that's going to get you so far. And I could see it already has. Like we're going to develop into these other questions where you guys started your own concert, and I think it's so awesome for anyone listening.
Yeah,
Like these guys actually started their own concert, and it's just so awesome. It really is.
yeah.
But that's exactly it. I really like that. But let's push along. We got
Yep,
three somewhat personal questions here, I guess.
cool.
But I like to ask these things because I like to go deep sometimes. But do you learn from your
Yep.
mistakes? I think sometimes we make mistakes in life, sometimes we don't learn. But I'm always curious on people's thought process with the question.
Yeah. So, obviously, obviously
Yes.
learn from my mistakes. I'm a huge self-studier, so I study myself day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, and not so much in a hard analytical way, but really, just like an era of feeling, basically. Like I can tell you I guess seasons where I was, I felt godly, and the seasons where I felt less than a grain of dirt, and in terms of just circling back, learning from my mistakes, like yeah, every day, and I think it's molded me into just becoming wiser, just like watching, and things go right underneath my nose, like we make mistakes every day. It's like, I've made yearly mistakes, where it took it for a year for me to realize. I've made, decade mistakes, and like now that we're kind of at
Sure.
that age to look back that
Sure.
far.
Yes.
And then obviously like, weekly and daily mistakes all the time. But it's really just I've learned to just focus on the day itself and just really just making it that the best day, and it's just
Yeah.
like one day at a time, literally. I mean, like it's always going to come back to like these classic things, but like until like you go through enough shit, then like those like cliche things like really resonate more than just like, oh, I heard that like one day at a time,
Amen.
obviously, so it's like I've noticed that too. It's like I've totally obviously heard all these things before, but now I really understand.
They get deeper every single year, man. It's
Oh my
crazy.
god.
It really is true, but I like that, and I also reflect, and I suggest anyone reflect. But obviously, we have some young listeners. But for anyone in their life, at any point, you do have to look back, and sometimes some things suck that we fail at, and my first major failure, I didn't touch another entrepreneurial project for like 9 months, maybe even a year.
Mm. Wow.
So, there definitely are setbacks with it, but that comes, and you learn from the setbacks, and then 5 years later you say, wow, I'll never have that type of setback again, because
Yeah.
you can't sit on your hands as an entrepreneur. Your hands always need to be doing something. You need to be doing something. That's how you become successful.
Yeah. I think it's just another tool in the toolkit now. There was a mistake and now you know what to do and what not to do next time. And you're just sharpening it, sharpening it, sharpening it, and
I
your
love that.
awareness raises and you know what to do and what not to do, and then you just
Absolutely.
make better decisions.
Exactly. And that is life in itself.
Yeah,
But
man.
um yeah, let's hear one of the happiest moments of your life.
That's a cool one. When I first read this, I have a lot of happy moments, which is cool. But the
Like that.
first proud moment, I'm gonna say, instead of happy, my first proud moment was it was actually where I finished this one Tough Mudder in college, and it wasn't so much that it doesn't sound like huge to people, but like for the time, for the mental state I was in at the time, and for what I felt of putting myself through the training process and like during that time in my life, I was on it. I was on everything. I was 100% in every area of my life. My mental health, my physical health, my relationships, my grades, everything. And I volunteered for 8 hours that day to help other people out. So they put me on the last obstacle, which is the huge half pipe that you have to run. If you so you're at the end of the race, you just went through a bunch of barbed wire, fire, and shit, and you're just shot. You're late. Your
Wow.
quads are seizing up, just walking now, and then you have to run, sprint up, and climb this half pipe. So I'm catching dead weight at the top of this half pipe for 8 hours. I got people
Wow.
from all shapes and sizes, like barely making it to the top, and I'm just in there like grabbing hands and yanking. So I had 8 hours of that. And then they were like, all right, like because you guys volunteered, you can run the last heat. So I'm like, oh shit, like now we gotta run now. So the first thing they put you through is they call it the shriveled Richard, which is which is an ice bath, which I thought was hilarious. 'Cause, like you jump into this ice bath, you have to climb, swim underneath this thing. So they force you to fully submerge, and then you start your race. And boy, did that wake me the fuck up!
Wow.
Like my nervous system was so shocked, it took away everything from the 8 hours. And then at the end, so long story short, I go through everything. It's the last thing. So now I get to the thing that I volunteered at. All I had to do was hop this little, I'm telling you, like 2 foot looking fence thing. And my quads seized up because they were just so
Oh
shot. I
dang.
must have been so dehydrated. I lift my leg up. I like seize up. I couldn't even stand up. Lucky enough, a buddy came over. They like like kind of like massaged my quads out. Um, and finally made it up this thing. And I just remember like climbing up there, sliding down the other end, getting the medal, and then just sitting on the bus home. And like I was just like, damn, like I'm super proud of myself, like just for like not only that like day, but like the months beforehand of preparation. And I think like
I
I
love
always hang on
that.
to that moment because like that was a big moment for me. And like
Yeah.
it was just like I always recall those feelings of like, yo, like remember like how disciplined you were on your diet, on your workouts, on your schooling. Like just go back to that phase and like you will be so fucking shocked of like how much you can accomplish. And I chase that feeling more than ever now
I
because
love
I
that.
took it for advan I took it for granted, and now I think just really recently, honestly, it's just like yo, just 100% everything. Like, take it seriously, man. Like, I got one of these. Like, stop fucking around.
So,
You know, like
that's so
go
true.
chase that proud moment again. And that was one of the happiest for sure.
All right, we got to wrap this podcast up because I'm gonna just go and chase my dreams. I feel
Yeah,
like you're just
let's
pushing me,
go.
man.
Let's go. Let's get it
No, but
moving.
seriously, that's I really like that because bro, it just shows a lot about your character, honestly, because you push through that persistence. You didn't just give up on yourself. You had your friends around you, which describes a lot about movers. And what you're doing is people over profit. You really are building a group of people that are into doing things that they love. And when you do things that you love and you're passionate about, you get those videos that you created. You get StatFest. You get a lot
Totally.
of these people doing really cool things together, and just
Yeah, man.
really awesome, man. Really awesome. I
Yeah.
like that.
Sweet.
Um, you're a talented entrepreneur. You're doing very cool things with movers. You had done another website back in the day. I forgot what it was. It was a health company though. I tried to help you with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that was early on.
What do you see derailing your plans in life or with movers? It's a tough question, but it's good to look at the negative sometimes.
Okay, cool. I guess I read it wrong when I first was
Oh,
looking at
okay.
this. I think this is a good question. Hold
It's all
on.
good. Yes,
Derailing.
no problem. No
What
problem.
would really be I think derailing myself is um let's see. I
Yeah.
think I
What's
let myself
what would take you guys off track? That's I don't know. In life, or even
yeah,
even with
yeah.
movers, or either or both.
Yeah, I think some shiny things I get distracted by, like,
Shiny
new
object
wave
syndrome.
stuff. Yeah, just like yeah, like, I really but, like, it also stems from, like, my excitement for new things, um, but
Which is
I
never
can see
bad though.
where yeah, right? It never turns out bad, but, like, for example, like, when Fortnite first came out, like, I definitely shouldn't be playing Fortnite when I had a business to
Bro,
run,
I was,
you know?
I
So
was
it's like
playing that 8 hours a
yeah,
night. I
it was
didn't
like
care. That was addicting. It didn't matter.
yeah, man. I let myself really get addicted, but, like, I feel like I've really, detoxed myself from a lot of my addictions, this year. So I in terms of derailing, I feel like first if I can I feel like I have a set business operations down. Um, I mean, the only derailing thing would just be, self-discouragement and self-doubt. But other
Wow.
than that, I really don't think anything can come into my path that I wouldn't be able to waver at least a little bit um, at this point. So
Yeah, yeah, no, I like that on two angles. I mean, you didn't say the addiction side, but I think vices, even if we use that word, sometimes can
there
get
you
the
go.
best of us.
That's a good word.
Yeah, I've seen it sometimes in my life. Whatever your vices are, even drinking caffeine. Are you drinking caffeine because you want to or because you have to? And if you have to, it's questionable. And to me, I probably have to drink caffeine. I could quit, but in my mind, I just drink it because it's that habit. But it's those things
Yeah,
outside of our action, because we are habitual human beings. But yeah, I like it,
totally.
because if you guys continue doing what you're doing, there's not necessarily that something's going to derail you. I just like to ask the question to see where people go with it. It's always interesting.
Yeah. 'Cause I mean, I thought, something like this would derail us, in the state of the world that we've seen the past 6 months, but, like, yo, we all came out alright, like, we're still up and moving and, I mean, I'm knock on wood for those that, had to, go through some struggling times, but, like, you're still breathing, like, it ain't over yet,
Yeah,
until I see all
bro.
black, I think we're still
Bro.
good,
No, that's so true. That's the crazy thing with life, isn't it? Like, and it is one of my regrets in life is looking back at the end and wondering. And a lot of people do it. I've read a lot of biographies, looking back on your life and wondering, is all the work you put into your work and your craft and your skills, was it all worth it when you're 85? You
Mhm.
know, on your deathbed, talking morbidly here, but it's so true. And you don't know until the end. And that's
Yeah.
why going back even before what you said, give it 100% every day because
You know
you're
what?
not guaranteed tomorrow. You're not guaranteed tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're not.
And you know what? It's interesting. It sounds weird, but I practice dying every day. And practice in the sense of
Oh my
I
god.
sit down, seriously, try this. Sit down
I
and get into like a semi-meditated state. And then in your head be like, all right, these are my last 3 breaths. What does that feel like? So I put myself into
wow.
that state. Like, what would that feel like? Like, I don't want it to shock me later in life. Like I don't want to fear that. So I'm practicing now. Of like, it sounds crazy. It sounds like
No,
how you
no.
practice
That's
dying, but like you're
crazy as the
preparing
human
yourself.
construct word. Yeah,
You
but
know,
like
it's
I'm
just
thinking about
preparing.
even doing it now. Like if I was to take 3 breaths, I would become so much more conscious, thinking, if these are my last 3 breaths, I would be so much more conscious to this moment.
Yep, exactly, and it always
And
brings
that's
you to the
powerful.
moment. Always this year, and we'll talk about the festival and stuff. Like, it easily could have put anyone over the edge, but it's like, all right, like I got 3 breaths left. Is this gonna? Am I gonna let this get to me? Like,
Wow.
does it matter in those last 3 breaths? Does it really? Like, what am I looking for? What I'm trying to feel, and then I don't know. It really humbles me and grounds me and gets me into just a more in the moment state.
And that is the key. And I'm realizing more. I've been reading so much freaking philosophy. If you like philosophy, Modern Man in Search of a Soul by
Love it.
Jung. It's a crazy good book, but it really, the present moment is all we have. Our thoughts are in the past or in the future. So,
Yeah,
do something in the present. And you say that so much. And truthfully, it motivates me. And that's why I do this podcast, because everyone I talk to, it's always such an interesting dynamic. But
yeah,
really
yeah,
awesome, man.
yeah. You
All
get.
right.
I'm jealous. You get to hear it from everyone.
Yeah, it is cool, and I hope you guys definitely one day will start a podcast. You guys are in entertainment. It would only make sense if you guys did it in a more unique way. I know you guys will think of
Ooh,
something very
we
creative.
got it our own way. Something might be coming
Yeah.
up soon.
All right, I'm excited. I want to be on it. All right, whatever it is,
Oh, of
get me
course,
in.
you know it. You're in there. You heard it here.
Cool stuff. Cool stuff. Let's push along. Is there
Yeah,
something else you would love to do? Any hobbies you enjoy outside of movers? I was curious even for myself on this question. What do you like outside of movers? Even outside of exercise, what do you like? I'm
yeah.
curious.
I think it's. I laughed a little bit hearing this because I'm like sitting here. I'm like, damn. Like I turned a lot of my life into movers. So
Oh gosh.
what now I'm like, what is outside movers? But I two things came to mind. One thing, I really enjoy longboarding. It's
Awesome.
I don't even view it as a form of exercise as much as it is just a pure enjoyment. I love getting on the board. I love just kicking, cruising, and putting in some music, and I love it like late at night when like 1, 2 a.m. Sometimes I get a craving and I just want to go out into the world and just cruise at night, knowing that everyone's
Love it.
asleep and I just have the world there. And then another thing is I've recently been like I've been like kind of I want to scratch an itch for singing. I don't know why. I mean, I'm in a
Wow.
band, but I don't
You're in the
sing.
yeah. Yeah.
So it's like recently, like I've just felt more comfortable to, and like singing for me is like for me personally is like one, I make myself embarrassed because like I'm a perfectionist and I don't have it. But like recently, like the group of honestly with my band friends with a Z, they just make me feel super comfortable and to like just try and like we try each other's instruments and I'm just like, you know what, like I can hit a note and I feel like anyone can learn anything. So like I feel like if I can conquer that, I feel like it's also just metaphorically for me just like being able to vocalize myself and like get over this tight throat, and basically like holding back words and opening up. Basically, I feel like if
Wow.
I get out and singing, it's also just a symbol for like, all right, he's out there. He's letting it all out. He's not afraid anymore.
I love that. Yeah, no, I really like that, man. And something I'm looking to do, I don't know if I'll actually do it on my YouTube channel, but I want to do like 100 Days of Fear. I don't know if you ever saw the TED Talk, but every
Oh,
day you do
oh
something that you're scared of. And dude, when there's a quote for it. It's like if you do things that scare you, being scared will surely disappear or something like that.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
facts
it's
on
so
that.
true. But I
I
love
use it
that with
now.
singing.
Yeah, I think it's my new compass is fear. Like people kind of get away from it, but it's like, all right, what am I afraid at? And who am I afraid? Am I afraid to talk to this person? Whether it's a girl or, a potential business opportunity or, what am I fearing right now? And it's like, that's my guide, like, what am I afraid to do today? Like, fuck, I got to do it. Like, that's what I got to do today. Like
It's so
whatever,
true.
instead of like sitting there and be like, oh, what do I do today? I don't know. And like get wrapped up in that. It's like, all right, what am I deathly afraid of right now? Like emailing this person, like,
I'm gonna jump right
shit,
into it. I don't care.
right, just do that, and, like, I think it would be a little bit easier, but I don't know, it's been
Yeah.
helping at least the past year is when I noticed, or, let myself, be helpful.
Yeah, wow. I like it. I love this conversation. I might mark it in here as one of my favorite conversations because
Oh,
you
sweet,
you
man.
got my blood's like, racing. I love it. It's really cool,
That's
man.
it,
I
man.
love this. And now I'm excited
Yeah.
because I did personally have the chance to be one of the first investors in StatFest. I don't know. Maybe I was broke. If
Really?
I didn't have the money, I don't know what it was at the time. This was like a year and a half ago, I believe. Maybe even 2 years ago, right? It was last September, no?
Um, it was a year. It was a year.
Year. Okay. So Staff Fest, I'll give a brief introduction. You'll obviously talk about it. It was the concert that Movers did last year. Super awesome. I didn't have the chance to go, unfortunately. I believe I was out of town. Let's talk about Staff Fest.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, I guess, is it happening this year virtually? I mean, it is September, so I don't know. Is it postponed?
So
What's
actually, funny enough, we have a well, we postponed the live event. We had to make that decision in June of this year, to next year. So it's just a
okay?
plus one. Yep. So we just moved
Yeah,
that one
sure.
to next year. But we do have a live Stat Fest coming up. I don't know when people are going to hear this, but October 4th is a virtual Stat Fest that we're doing with a lot of the local bands from Stat Fest last year. Stat Fest
They'll
stands for
hear that.
Summertime All the
Yeah,
Time.
they'll hear that before. So anyone who is listening now, which is
Oh, sweet.
legit, like 22% of you seem to get to this 40-minute mark. Go check Movers out on Instagram. You'll see, follow them, follow their concert that they're about to do, or their virtual thing. I cut you off there, but yeah, keep going. I'm
No,
sorry.
yeah, you're good. Yeah, it's virtual Stat Fest. Stat Fest stands for Summertime All the Time. It's our music festival that turned into honestly, dude. Like in terms of branding, it's more of a pineapple festival than it is a music festival at this point.
I love the pineapple stuff
Uh,
so much.
I'll explain. Yeah, I'll explain the reason behind that too. But
That's very
yeah, I
cool.
mean, I guess I can talk about it now, right? We're talking about Stat Fest.
Yeah, let's talk about it, and then let's merge the other question. I'm getting
Yeah,
better at
yeah,
this,
go for it.
trying to bring it all together. Uh, yeah, how was the first event? And I unfortunately, like I just did say, I was out of town, but
Yeah,
tell us what it was like creating, developing, and hosting your own concert, man. Like,
yeah.
wow, that is so
So
cool.
yeah, it came from the moment where it was as casual as, "Hey, like, do we wanna host a music festival in our hometown?" Like, just, like, kinda look to each other like, be those dudes that did that, and, at the time, what really got us to that point, like, we've always loved the name Summertime All the Time, and we wanted to bring that feeling wherever we were, and a music festival was the perfect, place to do that, and so we created Statfest, STATTFEST, and I remember drawing well, what made us confident to make moves towards it was, we felt that we had everything lined up. We've ran a couple of bar crawls at this point in our career, with We Are Good Friends is another brand of ours that we used to run bar crawls all over Long Island and even into some colleges and stuff. And so we had a lot of event experience and we understood what it took to sell tickets. So we're like, all right, we got that expertise down. We have a whole community of people now with the movers community. Really the only thing is what we need staging and just money at the time.
Yeah,
So we at this point it was November of 2018, and we came across Viper Studios out in Holbrook here in Long Island, and we were like, "Holy shit! Like he's got a mobile stage. Like this is the last piece that we felt we needed." And we talked to him, and he took us, into his space, and kind of opened up his space up to work there, and we just got ideating, and we saw it as possible, and we're like, "All right, like let's set a date and start making moves towards it." So we drew the logo. I remember that December. It was a pineapple with sunglasses, and then freaking 9 months later, we had our big old baby, and
that's so
it
crazy.
was just cool to see that process of like literally 9 months, dude. Like I remember like drawing the logo in December, and then like standing September 7th, like in the field of like people that I was
That's
just
an
it blows my
that's an
mind.
yeah, that's an awe shocking moment. It's those moments in life where it's like I cliche again, but they take your breath away a little
Yeah,
bit.
literally, yeah.
That's so
But
freaking
yeah, the
cool.
the event was amazing, dude. Like so, like the timeline of it was just like so like what it's like is just like it felt it was it was challenging. It was challenging. It wasn't hard. It was challenging. So it was like starting a music festival with no essential background or like no pull in the music industry, no big connections for money or sponsorship or anything like that, which is really what it takes to put a festival on that size. And we had close to 2,000 people, if not more, show up, and
Wow.
it was just everything was new and it was just a learning curve every single day. So it's like normally like you go in a job and like you have like 2 weeks or like a month of training and like it's kind of frustrating. Like this was like that condensed into one day every day for 283 days. So it was
Yeah.
just like it was exciting and scary at the same time, and it made or break a lot of people. We saw
Yeah.
who could kind of survive those pressures until the end, but we fundraised at the start. You heard our pitch at the start, and when you start
Yes.
something that never existed before, also at a time that came out as a very controversial documentary called Fire Festival, it was very hard to
That
to
is
be
true.
like, hey, we want to host a music festival, and then like
I
every
never
single person.
thought that though, because
Yeah, that was a
you
big
guys
one.
aren't like
It
you
was
guys
really just
aren't like that.
expectation.
I probably screwed with you on
No,
that,
not at
or
all.
I
I was
said
like,
something,
bro,
but you
I'm
guys
not.
aren't like
I'm like,
that, you
I'm
know?
not. Yeah, I'm like, I'm not Ja Rule. I don't have a private island. I'm not investing millions of dollars in this thing. I don't have Kylie Jenner. Like, shut up. Like, I'm fucking hosting it as, like, basically like a block party in Farmingdale. Like, chill.
Yeah, that's
But
so cool,
that
dude.
helped. So, I mean, we had to go through that turn. Like, I had to fundraise. We fundraised close to 40 grand to be able to kickstart it, and that was not uh, everything. So next go round, we're definitely going to fundraise everything up front because cash flow is one of the biggest things in the festival space,
Amen.
which we
Cash flow.
learned.
No, cash flow is
So
everywhere. You need it everywhere.
everywhere, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But when you're relying on one day that is 9 months away from you, and you're
That's
putting in all of your time and energy and
yeah.
praying that even something like rain can affect you, like
Oh
you're
God.
you're freaking out a little bit. So
That's really true, man.
anyway,
I
so
bet like
uh,
that's so cool. You have that experience under your belt, man. It's gonna come again in a year from now. Like that's awesome.
yeah, and going through that, like it taught me countless lessons. Taught me how to manage a team. Taught me, the benefits of online marketing and branding. And that was a really unique thing. Like a lot of pivotal moments. Like it almost didn't happen 5 times. Like the first start, I remember this is a big story. Like we had like $10,000 check ready to put down on this one venue, and that was the deposit for the place. And we walk in there, and the owner of it was like, "So, we're here to talk about this car auction going on in September." I was like, "Wait, what did you say? Car auction?" I was like, "You mean music festival?" He's like, "Music festival."
Oh my
I was like,
gosh.
"Car auction?" He's like, "Music festival." I was like, I'm looking at the two guys that were agents at the time that we were going through. I was like, "You didn't fucking tell him that we're having a music festival, and I'm holding a $10,000 check right now that I fundraised to put down on your fucking venue." Like, I was mind blown, dude. Like, this was months of wasted time with these pricks, and no name sent, but like, it was just
Sure.
ridiculous. Like, they were clearly like out it for just like a quick cash grab, and like they would really fuck us over. So like, it was
Wow.
just like that moment was like, damn, this is gonna be real. Like, if this is the start of this journey, like it's gonna be fucking real. So like I remember sitting in the car, Ryan, we're fucking pissed. And I'm like, look at him, I'm like, yo, like what, like let's stop, like we got our frustrations out, and I'll save the vulgarity for another time. But we finally calmed down. We looked at each other, and we were like, who the fuck are we, bro? Like, do you want to do anything else in your life? And he was like, no. And I was like, we're fucking
Wow.
movers, man. Like, we got to go out and like prove shit, like let's get the fuck back out there. So we were parked at the end of a block at that one moment. We put it in drive. We went straight back to the office, and we were just fucking that mindset. Like, it was exactly what we needed. We needed to feel that punch in the face to like just like, yo, fuck you. Like, I'll show you, and we took that
So true.
energy and throughout the whole process. And there was other moments like that, and like we kind of like sat back down again. We're like, fuck again, like, running out of money. There was countless times where like we almost couldn't make a payment because artists had to get paid, 4 times up until the event. Like we were literally just trying to plea and be like, yo, can you wait until the event? Like when we know that we can sell beer and shit. And like they were like, no, it's your first year. Like we don't trust you. And we're like, fuck, all
Oh
right. So
God.
opened up like a bunch of credit cards. I probably put like 20 grand into it myself, and like just like you just had to do what you had to do. It did not even matter. The
So
whole
crazy.
goal was to just have the day. It didn't even matter what we made, what we didn't make, who, like, it didn't matter. It came to the day of, and it was just like we had to prove ourselves to show that this was possible. And luckily enough, the event was phenomenal. People showed up. They got to see all the different types of creativity that we put throughout the day, and just like and just the accomplishment of having it. And I remember
Not your normal
specifically
festival, but continue.
not your normal, not your normal. We had a DJ dome. We rented out this soccer bubble. We had a whole DJ set up in there with lights. We had video game center. We had yoga there. We had a whole hour brunch for VIP that was all vegan. We had vegan food trucks. We had barbers. Shout out to the Holy Black. They came out there with their barbers giving free haircuts. and like it was just a sick day. Like everyone just showed up. I remember like I felt so cool. Like I had a security guy with me, and like he was strapped, and he was like, "Yo, Matt, like anytime you got to move cash, let me know. Like just give me a hint. Don't look at me in the eye, so no one knows." And like I was like fucking secret agent shit. Like it was sick. I just like collecting like wads of fucking cash and like putting in like my dad's truck in the back fucking room in a safe and like just like it was so cool to feel. And like I remember like security guard looking at me, he's like, "Yo, like everyone's kind of smoking pot, like is that cool?" I was like, "It's gonna make your job easier because everyone's just gonna be loving, laughing, and eating and having a great time." He's like, "You're right." And I was like, "All right, let it go." And like couldn't really like say anything around that. And like the security report came back and they were like, "This was the best event we ever did. We only had one
Wow.
person. We only had one person that just like fainted because she was dehydrated, and we had an ambulance on site, so that she got fixed up right away. I saw her
That's
part. I
awesome.
partied with her until the end. And then like that was literally it. Like the report back was like there was no casualties. Like maybe parking was a little bit. That was just the venue, but like we had auxiliary police come and they were able to guide us like halfway through the fest, and they were super cool. So shout out to Nassau County for that. And then I just remember like 7:30 8 p.m. I'll never forget. I dropped my last trash bags because I was running like a chicken without a head the whole day, just like trying to make sure everyone was having a good time. And like first time, like we've run events, but I've never run events with hundreds and thousands of people. Like
Yeah,
it was
absolutely.
like way different. So like I had my experts in place. I had people that have run large events. I've had a guy, Mike, that runs the Santa Cons on Long Island, and
Oh
so
wow.
I had the guys there, but like still the day of it was just crazy. So I dropped my last trash bags and I look up and like I saw like countless people look at me with like the face of like finally he's done. And like people rushed over, the amount of beers that were given to me, food, like just like getting loaded up. And like I swear I was carried to the stage, and like this boy needs to enjoy his fucking night. And I
Wow.
just got drunk instantly because I didn't eat anything all day, and I just enjoyed the last 4 hours and saw the floozies. And then I remember sitting there at like 3 in the morning, like on the bench, being like, "Holy shit! Like it's gone! Like it happened!" Like
You did it. Like
crazy,
that is a
crazy,
sick,
dude.
sick story. There is not a normal day usually when you are sitting down with someone who has run a concert.
Oh
So
man,
that is cool as heck. I
oh
can't
man,
wait
it's
to
a cool
see the
process.
next one. I know the connections, the people, and everything is. You guys have so many connections, so I can't imagine what next year's going to be. But
Yeah,
wow, that is
insane, man.
awesome as heck. Yeah, yeah.
We're gearing up for 10 times the size. So get ready.
Oh man, that's gonna be awesome. Honestly, man, please, like whoever's out there, God, whatever you want to believe in, I hope this can actually
Yeah,
come out because like
yeah,
concerts
yep.
not being a thing right now is kind of insane.
Yeah, so we took a pivot on that. We were keeping the brand going. We came out with our own Statfest beer now. We had a pineapple beer made by
Dude, when do
Anthology.
I get that? I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah,
How do I
man.
get a
So
beer? I want a
we're
beer.
we're giving out giveaways, man. We're gonna be
All right,
giving them
cool,
out,
cool,
and
cool, cool, cool,
we'll be able to announce that. And
cool, cool.
so we're just keeping the brand alive. And I just want to make note of that too. Like, we had to look at the beast as all right. We can't compete with other music festivals. Like we just don't have it. We don't have the capital. We don't have the branding. We don't have the experience. So we had to look at it and be like, all right, we're not going to be competing with other music festivals. So we had a Blue Ocean a little bit. I don't know if any of your people know Blue Ocean, but it's basically like you just
Love Blue
kind of
Ocean, yeah.
just create your own market, like basically what Netflix did to Blockbuster. And we were like, so we're like, all right, we had a Blue Ocean this a little bit. We're not going to be a music festival, but we're going to be the best fucking pineapple festival you will ever see or hear about in your life. So like in terms of like music festivals, like if I were to say Staffest is a music festival, they'd be like, all right, like I've been to Coachella, like that is a fucking music festival. This was like something in a town in Farmingdale. But like if I
Sure.
say like, yo, I'm hosting a fucking pineapple festival, people are like, what? Like you got the floozies to be at a pineapple festival? You know what I mean? Like it just like changed the perception, and that level of branding helped us so much because we turned a commodity of a fruit to be the status symbol of our whole brand. So now, like, we still get Snapchats and DMs of like anytime anyone is eating pineapple, it does not matter anywhere in the world, they tag Staffest, and that's like really creative. And like where I want people to think too is like try to get to that level, like whether it's verbiage or something like that. Like do something that is an everyday thing for someone, and then you be that brand. Like we won. Like anytime
Yeah.
anyone sees a pineapple, they're gonna think Statfest. And whether it's a music festival or not, like we're still gonna be thought of. And it's
So
just
awesome.
thinking that level. So It took a lot of
That is
creativity
some
for
next.
that, and I
Yeah,
gotta give
no,
respect
that's some
to
next.
my cousin Ryan.
Yeah, because a lot of you guys made different videos for it. I remember receiving random videos in my Instagram, or I don't, maybe it was on Snapchat too, and seeing it on Facebook. The way in which you did it to build up that anticipation, yes,
Yeah.
it does stay in the back of your head. Like you really do think of it like that, and you're still branding it like that. And
Yeah.
truthfully, I'm
Well, you
trying to
got no
clap over. I'm trying to clap over here because
oh,
it's really cool, and it's cool that you're sharing that with people in the sense that like, hey, do it fucking different. Like, be different, make a move, and you never know where it's gonna really end up, and it looks like it can end up well as long as you're actually trying to prove yourself. And that was another thing you said before, which is so true. I think a lot of people try to do things, but in the end, they're not really like so hungry to like prove it is going to work out. Like if you have that grit to actually see anything through, you will be so successful in life. There are
yeah.
so many people that don't want to see it through,
Hey, man, and do it now too, because in terms of timing, like, do it as soon as possible, because if we didn't make that decision then, look what happened the year after. Like, the whole industry shut down,
Wow,
you know? So, like, we didn't
true.
even if we waited 1 more year, it would have never been a thought in our heads to ever
Wow.
produce, anything along those lines, and that is such an important brand, not only for ourselves, but for all the local musicians and artists. Like, it's a platform for all local talent. Like, that festival is built off of the community, and that's exactly who we're going to be riding up with and giving back to at the same time. So it's just,
Love it.
do it earlier than you think.
Yeah, do it now, and or don't do it at all, honestly, because
Yeah,
your tasks
yeah,
only build up as the years come. We are going
yeah,
to go over that hour. I hope you have like an extra 15, 20 minutes. We have a couple
yeah,
more
yeah.
questions.
We can run through these. Yeah.
All right, cool, cool. So like, yeah, let's push on. We're gonna do different. We just heard about freaking creating the most epic concert ever, and it's gonna happen again a year from now. So make sure you're following
Oh yeah.
Movers on social media. But and for everyone on Instagram, because I will have to chop this up. Go to YouTube. Listen to the rest of this. It's gonna be good. We're getting real deep with these questions. But
Oh,
to
sweet.
become the to become the person you want to become, do you have to give up the person you are now?
Oh man, I love that one. I feel like
Yes,
I
this
feel
is
like
my
I'm
favorite question.
I feel like I'm a new. You're a new person. I feel like every month, dude. But like looking back over the year, it's like definitely different versions, different shells, and like
Oh yeah.
the person I want to become is still yet to come. I think he's getting there. He definitely like took like a more decisive decision this year on that path, and I think 10 years from now he's gonna be where he wants to be. But then 10 years from then he's gonna say that again. So I guess it never ends.
Yeah, no, it's so true. It is somewhat of a cycle, but I like that, and that's true. Like you do, there's shells to it, and I don't know, you could see it like a snake as well. Sometimes you have to shed that outer layer, but the
Yeah,
insides are still the same.
yeah,
What motivates you to work, to get new clients, create new moves? What drives you to do that?
yeah. That's interesting. I think
It's deep. I go deep, but what do you got?
I wonder if like, I feel like there's, like, stages, because like, I think of these questions of, like, and I ask myself, like, "What motivates me?" And it's just like, I think I'm past the motivated stage. Like, motivated is, like, when you don't want to do
Yes,
something. So, like, I think,
it's
like,
so
I
true.
found something that I want to do, even though, like, I I know I just wanna do this, like, whatever this is, and, like, it's nothing specific because I do a bunch of shit, like, but basically,
Sure,
it's like, this is just what I wanna do, so it's like, I don't need motivation anymore, it's just like, I need like, in my head, I just need discipline, like, I'll
sure,
always, like, always look at myself as like, all right, like I could have done more here. I could have done more there. And, I can cut back here if I'm taking it seriously there. So I guess I'm past the motivating part, but what initially motivated me was the idea of just the lifestyle of making choices when I want to make them. And that's just the definition of entrepreneurship is, like, you obviously grind, but like, the fact that I can come home and help my mom with groceries, like, that little moment right there, and like, it just means a lot. You look back and it's like, if I worked, for someone else or a 9 to 5 or something, and like, I wouldn't catch those moments. I would never see them. Like, even
yeah,
though arguably I rarely see them now, but like, it's on my choice. Like, I
heck
choose
yeah.
to do that. Sorry, mom. Like, I choose not to see you right now, but I swear I'm gonna get you a maid. I'm gonna get you the house. Like, let me just get out there, let your boy play a little bit, and I'll come home with a nice dinner. I swear.
Yeah, I've met your parents. They're both very awesome people.
Oh, they're the reason why. I
Yeah,
they
it's very
hooked me
true.
up. I'm still working on my basement right now, man. Like, you gotta do what you gotta do. So, like,
It's
they're
so
hosting me up
true.
right now, and just I'm saving, and well, actually not saving, I'm investing everything I got. But
Good,
it
good.
wouldn't be possible if if it wasn't for them. Like the fact I can come home to a meal and like just not be judged where I go out. Like they're the real movers. They're the real MVPs over there. So shout out to Sal and Diane.
I love that. I love that so much. That's so cool. Very cool, man. I like that. I like your perspective on that. And for people who are listening who need that motivation sometimes to work, I get it. But what Matt says, I think I might have realized that maybe like it could be this year or maybe the beginning or the ending of
I think
last
this
year. Like,
year. Yeah.
but motivation it doesn't last, man. And it's so true how you're
Yeah.
saying that. Like, it is the discipline that's going to see you through at the end of the day. It's that action, and it doesn't matter like what's going to motivate you to get into that action. You just need to continuously be acting upon certain
Yeah.
things in the in the progression of your dreams. Like, success is the progression of a worthy idea. That's all it is. People cloud it
Yeah,
with
man.
everything else, but if you're progressing towards a worthy idea, which you guys are doing something really cool, and I can't even imagine what it'll be 5 years from now. um, you're progressing towards that,
Wow.
and you're progressing towards that ending, and I love it.
I love progressive realization. Those are my favorite words ever.
Yeah, those are cool words. So true.
Yeah.
Progressive realization, man. But yeah, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Where do you see movers in 10 years? It definitely is a tough question, but do you see it somewhere? I mean, no one knows what's going to happen in 10 years, let's
Yeah.
be honest, but what's a little vision?
Totally. So, personally, in 10 years, I'm performing at my best self. So,
Love it.
I see, like I have my business under control. I understand time management. I'm in the best shape of my life. Super healthy. I would imagine I'd be with a lifelong partner at that point, um, or at least ready to. And I just feel like I would have things under control. And obviously there'll be challenges year to year, and we go through phases, or seasons, I should say. But like, I would be fully operational, and the business would be self sustainable, not only for myself but for my friends and family. Like I only want my friends and family. I only want to work with them. So luckily enough, I'm a friendly guy, so I got open arms. I'm willing to make new friends. So I'm not cutting anyone off either. It's just like, I want to be the reason why, I got to free them, or, just like, I know myself with money, I know myself with energy, and it's very, very giving. So if I just had more of it, then more people get more of it too. So,
I
I'll
mean,
be
I'm getting so much of your energy right, man. I think even at one point when you were saying stuff, I was getting goosebumps like to the slightest. Like, it is crazy to hear your story.
Oh man, I appreciate that. And then yeah, and I guess the movers in 10 years, it's just gonna be an empire, dude. This thing is gonna
I love
be
it.
uh
I hope so.
just
Yeah,
a
I've always tried to pick into it, to try to fit my puzzle, so speaking, fit my block into
yeah,
it in some way, and it will come. I know it will.
yeah,
I'm not gonna force anything, and obviously we really haven't met up. I want to say it's probably been at least a year and a half since I've seen you, maybe even 2 years.
yeah,
So we'll have
yeah.
to meet up. We'll definitely meet up for
Oh,
something at some point.
sure, for
Social
sure.
distancing, of course. People,
Yeah.
keep your 6 feet or your 2 meters if you're somewhere else.
Oh, sweet, yeah, global.
But yeah, let's push along. I know you're a busy man.
We're good.
And I guess this is a perfect thing. And your mindset, I can see, is awesome because you're looking 10 years in the future and you're excited to see who that person's going to be, which is so awesome. How powerful do you believe your mindset is on your success in life and business? And I feel like this is such an easy question for you.
Oh, facts. I mean, that's everything. I mean, you feel yourself like when you're in a bad mental state, you don't want to do shit. You don't even want to brush your teeth. I've gotten to
So
that point
true.
where like I didn't even want to shower. Like I've been on the lowest of lows. Like I didn't want to do anything, and like I also made a promise to myself to never return to that state again. And I built up with the tools, and it's become increasingly harder to get to that state again. And that's a great thing because I don't wish that upon anyone. But I'm glad I went through my lowest of lows, and I'm grateful for the people that are around me to help. But like I had to do that myself. That was me. I pulled myself out of that. And people got to realize that too, is that when you give other people, or other things, power over you, then you rely on that. But
Amen.
you got everything in you right here, and like whether like I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, no, no. And I will pick up a little bit on that because I just had
Yeah,
to. But you have to rely on yourself. At the end of the day, it's kind of crazy, but everything is temporary. Like, and that is something to really realize. And I feel like, the man in the mirror, like that's such a big thing. It's no one else. It's you against you from
Yep,
yesterday. Like,
that's
and
it.
that's how you're living.
I guess
I love it,
I guess
man.
that's the motivation, man. Like, I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, "Alright,
You're fighting yourself from yesterday.
yeah,
Like, all right, Matt, let's
literally.
do something more crazy today than
Yeah,
we did
yeah.
yesterday.
Stop being lazy. Stop like whose thoughts like why are you limiting yourself, bro? Like, it's
I
that
love it.
other version of myself that is self-doubt. But like those aren't even my words, like someone
No,
I
no,
came across a great form of inspiration recently. We had a new guy on the team, Darvis. I want to shout out to him. He's a phenomenal graphic
shout out to
designer.
Darvis.
Yeah, motion graphics, videographer, all around creative person. You can find him on Instagram too. And um we just started a little trial period, just ready to work together, and he got to stay out uh, by us in Long Island for a little bit, and we went out to dinner one night um, just to dive in, and he was like, we shared stories, and we both came from deep dark places as motivation for us to just be light in the people's worlds. And great advice he gave me. He was like, anytime that you hear those thoughts, ask who put that there. So anytime that I say to myself, like, oh, like, don't do that, like, it's too much money or too expensive, or whatever, you won't be able to do this, whatever. Like, stop and create the habit of asking yourself, like, who put that there? Who put those words in my
Because
head?
it's not
Like,
you. It's not you.
it's not me. I
That's
can do
so
anything I
beautiful.
fucking want.
That's crazy. That is
Yeah,
I love that. I will
yeah,
I will
man.
take that with me
Take
too,
that,
because
man.
sometimes you do
I
have those thoughts.
really try to remind yourself that every day, because like I noticed that too. It's like kind of out of sight, out of mind. But like every day lately, I've been like able to say it like once a day, whether I need it or not, just to like embed the habit into it. And it's just like, yo, who put that there? Like, that wasn't me. Like, whoever said that to me, like, fuck out of here. Like, I'm doing something else. Like I'm going on with it. And oh man, it
Hell
helps a
yeah.
lot. So thank you, Darvis.
Yeah. Wow. I really like that. That's probably one of the best answers to that question. Thank you so much for
Sweet.
that.
Okay.
We'll switch gears a little bit because everyone struggles, but what is
Yeah,
your
man.
biggest struggle as one
Oh
of the founders
man.
of Movers?
Holy shit, dude. All right. I trying to um organize. There's so much
Man, I'm
shit, dude.
struggling with
Oh
organization
my
too. We
god.
really got to sit down on that. I swear, like I
Yeah.
want to sit down with like a mastermind of people and just be like, yo, here's the 27 million things I'm doing.
Yeah,
Please just
yeah,
help a little bit.
yeah. I think because like I can see in you too, Dom. Like, we get really excited for new projects, and like I think that's also like a bit of like an ADD thing. Where it's
Yeah,
like,
100%.
I
I
don't know
will
if you
give
feel that
in
way.
to having ADD. I will give in to
Okay,
having
I didn't wanna
ADD.
put words in your mouth, but, like, I love the initial excitement of things, and, like, I've learned to, like, finally, like, get into finalizing them. Like, that's why maybe it's taking me this long, but, like, I also don't regret it too, because, like, it opens up so many different avenues, meet so totally different groups of people, like, I'm not judging myself for that at all, but, um, my biggest frustration is, like, when I don't have a good organized control of things, and not in, like, a tyrant type of way, just like, there's a lot of moving parts, at least within Movers, which is basically just a business of businesses. So it's like you owning multiple businesses.
Yeah.
And not to say that they're my businesses. I just want to make sure that everything works together. So it's just like, constantly putting the, new cogs into the machine, and then constantly oiling them and making sure that they're working.
I love it, man. This is
Yeah.
one of my favorite conversations. But I like that perspective because it's true. At the end of the day, that is so true. And even with my businesses, you have to put the cogs together. And your example is so true. You have to oil it every day. And sometimes you're not gonna have enough oil for that day, but the next day you pick it back up and you try to solve that challenge.
Yeah.
Hey man,
But
that's
then
awesome.
we're funny enough to even add more cogs when we don't have enough oil too. So
then
it's
you're just
fun
dried
games we
up, and
do.
then you got to hit the whiteboard again. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's you just are moving. You're moving. You have a bias towards action. Keep that passion in you, and I can't imagine what you'll be in 5 years because look
Yeah,
what
man.
you've done in four. Like I can't imagine what the next five are going to bring for you.
Yeah, man.
Um, but here's our last question, and we'll try to wrap it up rather quickly because we are a
That's
little
sweet.
over. But what is your big dream? What's your end goal? I know you're doing cool things with movers. What is holding you back though? And this is a Peter Thiel or Elon Musk thing, but I try to live by this. My 10-year goals. How do I do it in 6 months? What's holding you back from doing a 10-year goal and shrinking it down in 6 months? And obviously, the one main thing is organization. I struggle with that as well, and I
Yeah.
can see that being one of your answers. But yeah, how can you shrink that down? What do you think you could do to take 10 years and crush it to 6 months?
Wow,
It's a tough
that's
question.
good. I want to
I
answer.
like,
I want to answer.
yeah.
Yeah, I want to answer the first part first. I think you said, "What is your big dream?"
Yeah, what's your end
And
goal? You have it. Again,
the
it's
end goal.
yeah.
Yeah, that one. I mean, I think about this too. I'm not a big dreamer. I have my cousin for that, and I really like his dreams. So his dreams are awesome. So I just help execute on them, and luckily enough, we share same interests. But it blows my
Ryan,
mind.
right?
Yeah, Ryan. Yeah, shout out
I
Ryan
might
Costello,
I
my
might have to
cousin.
yeah, I might have to try to get him on. I hope. I don't know if the conversations will
Yeah,
overlap in a way, but maybe I'll try to get him on.
you want you wanna talk big? He's our, visionary. This kid is just it blows my
He's a
mind,
smart
man,
guy.
and growing up with him, we always, made our own little worlds, our own little games and, videos, and we would oh, man, this kid is the definition of creativity, and, I've absorbed that, but I think I've become more of, like, operational, take his ideas and, we help bring it to life, and, so like, but in terms of like, I'm living my dream right now, man. Like,
I love that.
it's just chapter, 4 of, 20, it's just,
Sure.
you know, I'm just almost there, and the ultimate dream is just, obviously just, more self-sustainable and whether it's in the form of money or whatever, I'm not even going to give money the power of being the reason why we're not where we are because anything can
Yeah.
happen. There could just
Yes.
be a person that just loves the mission and wants to give, and we take that same energy and give it, and disperse it in our own way. So
Yeah, I love that.
it's really just that, and then what's holding me back from accomplishing my goals right now,
You
and
can think on that. I want to add into
go
what
for
you're
it.
saying, and I even see it just in you. Like it's a cool way to live. You're someone who looks at yourself and you're kind of just trying to build that, better person because we're not none of us are perfect, but we
No,
all every day are trying to be better and, just prove to ourselves that we can be that person that we want to be because we all have ideas of who we want to be one day. I mean, we're young, man. We're still developing our lives out, but I just really like that. It's motivating to see. And the money thing was even so true because sometimes is money deserving of you? Sometimes people shout out like to try to get a goal and it's based around money, but like at the end of the day, the money is it deserving of you because what you have to do to get it will probably kill your ambition for it.
mm.
It's kind
Yeah,
of different,
facts, and
but
it's really just an energy, whether it comes
it
in the form
is
of, "Hey, someone could just give me everything tomorrow." I believe that, I'm on that
seriously, and
level,
it's so
it's just
true
like,
because what you're
you know,
doing is cool. Like, why wouldn't someone want to? Like, if they knew your mission, they resonated so broadly with that. Like, it's here's $1 million. Like, I'm a billionaire. Here's $1 million. What does that do to them? Nothing.
Exactly. So it's really just more so of like not saying that you're deserving of that as much as it's just thinking that way because then you get to wake
Fair,
up and be
fair.
like anything can happen today. I can get a text right now. You could get a text right now that would change the course of your fucking life. So like waking up and thinking that every day, not expecting it though, just understanding that it can
I love
happen.
it.
I think that's
Yeah.
the difference. Don't
It,
expect it to happen because like don't expect anything to happen. You got to go out and make the move. The universe is only going to give to those that it sees as making moves. So like that's
you have to
another
do
thing I guess
something
on
here, create something here. Yeah, you have to
like,
do something for
it's gotta
nature.
it's gotta help those exactly. It's gotta help those that wanna be helped, basically. It's like, the universe is
Yes.
gonna look at, you and being like, "Yo, this kid's grinding, like, here's
Yeah,
an opportunity, here's an opportunity, here's an opportunity, here's an opportunity," and
that's so
and,
true.
um, and looking that way, but I still sidetracked myself from what's holding me back from
I
accomplishing my
sidetracked
goals. I
myself
mean,
as
I
well.
no, it's good. I mean, what can condense into a shorter time frame? Um I really think it's just getting as many people on the same page and realize it all at once. It's basically like,
Yo, no,
hey,
pause. That is so true. That is so true. If you get
yeah,
so many people on
cool,
the
because
same
it's
page,
like,
that's so true. I love that.
yeah, it's
Keep
like
going. I'm sorry.
it's like, yo, like, I no, no, let's talk about it because it's like, yo, like, you don't want to work this part time, bro. You don't want to work that part time. All I hear is that you want to sing, that you want to start this business, you want to do that. It's like, all right, is that really what's holding you back? Like, can you like hold off for like a month? Can we just all like go at this all together at once and just see what that looks like, you know? And like I really gotta say, like I've really experienced that in this past month right now. And that's why I'm excited to talk at this point. Rather than when you first reached out to me earlier in the month.
Sure.
I think I told you that's why I wanted to push it to this
Yes,
stage
yes.
because
And
I
it's
knew things
it
would be
seems
going.
awesome, man. It seems great.
Yeah, because it's like I finally got a taste of that, and, it took some money out of it, but, like, it's more so like everyone's on the same page, and we all are on the in the same boat, rowing to the same speed, to the same rhythm, in the same direction, and it's invigorating, dude, like, then more motivation too, it's like I'm not even motivated myself, I'm motivated to keep them around because, like, I love their energy and, like, that's a selfish thing that I wanna do, like, I love their energy so much that I'm selfish in the sense that I want you around me all the time for my entertainment and my love, you know? So it's like, if I gotta pay you to do that, bro, then like, so be it. Like, I'll find a way to make that happen. So,
Yes.
it's just
I love that.
that's absolutely what it is. It's just
I
because then we could all do it right
oh,
now. Like, we limit ourselves like, "Oh, I'm not gonna do that for money, like, unless I get paid or unless I get this or unless I get that." But like, no, obviously those are forms of security right now, but it's like technically, if we all agreed to do something, we could get things done in a snap. You know, if everyone collectively believed that they could just, go and end world hunger, we could do that right now. In a snap. We just get
so
people on the
true.
same page, like, and
Collective consciousness. You need
collective
a
conscious,
collective
yeah, and I
consciousness,
think
yeah.
it's finally it's growing into that, and this year was a huge exposure to that, and, people are getting on the same page with things, and, I'm really excited to be at this age, in this time, experiencing this right now.
That is a perfect ending to this podcast, bro.
Yeah,
Thank you so much
got it,
for your
man.
hour and 16 minutes. Like, thank you
Dude,
so much. Like, I learned so much, and
I
I
learned
feel
about
like
myself, dude. I really like the way the questions were laid out. I think it really helped me uncover things. I don't get to talk about myself too often, and this was a great
awesome.
opportunity to do that, Dom. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, so yeah, wrapping up. Did you give them your own ads, your own YouTubes for like
Yeah,
the other 6% are listening? Seriously, these people like they drop off at like this
yeah,
50
it's
minute
cool.
mark, but
You can
shout it out for the people that listen.
Yeah, yeah. It's they can follow me at Matty Movers, MATTY_MOVERZ. It would be hard not to find me if you follow Movers because I'm in a lot of skits. So
Yeah, heck
yeah,
yeah.
just follow that.
Awesome.
You can catch us on every platform.
Yeah, very cool. Matt, thank you so much for coming on. This will be out next Friday, or I mean, when you guys hear it, it'll be out. So thanks for
Cool.
listening, everyone. And yeah, thank you so
Thank
much.
you all. Keep moving.
Let's go.